G'day guys, welcome to the first episode of Beers at the Barrel. I am joined by my very close friend Aiden Downie. Now we'll be sitting down having a chat. Now obviously this is the first episode, so this is trial and error, testing the waters. Obviously it is a bit of a different setup, a different thing. So you have to bear with us as the conversation does get started. But here we go. Thanks for coming. How you going, Dossie?
Good mate, how are you?
Yeah, good brother. I think one thing I'd love to start talking about first is school. Because obviously we went to two different schools together. We first went to Narang together, obviously. Back in the day, me, you, Gordo, getting into trouble and stuff. But then obviously we went to trade school. And I think school was like a big one for me. Because obviously when I was at Narang I, got into trouble, got into mischief, wasn't the best. And then when I went to trade school, I straightened up a bit. But I guess for you, I never really understood because obviously you were always good at school. Like, yeah, you got into some trouble, but like you were never, in the shit too much. So why'd you actually come from Narang to trade school?
Well, the original plan was I wasn't getting perfect grades back when I was a bit younger. Wasn't paying attention, listening.
Yeah.
So I thought, go to trade school, try and get a school apprenticeship. Liked it, but wasn't really my thing at the time. Still pretty young while we were there as well.
Yeah, just didn't know what you want to do.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, like expanding on like the education side of things, obviously, when you were with one of your ex-partners, you moved to Melbourne for a while, and you were going to do the whole uni thing, but obviously it didn't work out, you didn't like it.
Yeah, no, uni's not for me.
Not for you, yeah. I mean, see, that's a weird thing for me, because it's like when I started uni, I was like, because the reason why I never started uni was because I was sort of wasn't smart enough, because obviously I didn't do well in normal school, and obviously when I moved to trade school, got really good grades with maths, business, English, and then obviously got my apprenticeship and, got my trade certificate. But for me, it was like, that doubt of, because normal school wasn't the best for me because of my ADHD and because of like the way that my brain worked at the time, I just couldn't saturate myself in something that I wasn't interested in.
Yeah.
And I feel like it was hard for me to do it. So then when I had like a bit of like, lack of confidence in myself that I was actually smart enough to do uni. And then obviously when I found out about CQU and that I could, do it online and do it remote and actually do it. And I've already done term one. I did the maths and the prep skills, and I got a 6.5 GPA, and I'm actually doing really well. But I think, like you said, it's not for everyone. I think it was a big, massive change for me. It is still really hard. But obviously, what did you find about it that wasn't for you?
It was more just, I've always struggled with the way that like teachers teach, for example. Like I'm more of a hands-on sort of learner. Yeah. And uni's definitely not that. They sort of just give you the work and
you have to move through it. Yeah, I think that's the difference between school and uni. Obviously, is with school you have
independent.
You're 100%. You're more independent. Like, at least at school you have your teachers that you can fall on. They're trying to motivate you and stuff. But at the end of the day, the lecturers don't give a shit if you watch the lecture. They don't give a shit if you do the assessment. You're paying to be. You're paying to be there. So it's all up to you. So I guess, but I guess it's lucky because like. Obviously, I'm doing the bridging course at the moment, and then what you were doing was obviously the bridging course when you were in Melbourne. So it's obviously all uni's free in Melbourne, as we know. But which I actually, speaking of that, we'll pause there. I think that's really interesting how uni is free in Victoria. Obviously,
I don't believe it's not all degrees. It's just certain degrees.
Certain ones, yeah.
The like, what do they call it? Tertiary preparation program was the bridging course that I did.
Yeah.
That was all free, and then from there, different areas of the university is they offer like subsidised courses and all that sort of stuff, and but it's definitely different to Queensland for sure.
Yeah. Did you find when you were in Victoria that it was like certain jobs or certain degrees were freer than other ones weren't? Did you find that the jobs that were more needed were the ones that were free, like the ones that were done, lacking? Yeah, medical field. I was going to say, because obviously your whole thing was you were going to do paramedicine, but obviously you didn't like uni and you weren't going to go through with it. But branching on that, obviously applying to the police force, obviously still waiting to hear back from your psych. It's been what, 5 weeks? QPS, if you're watching this.
7 weeks.
7 weeks, sorry. Yeah. QPS, if you're watching this, where's his update on his psych eval? He's waiting patiently. But obviously I went through that path.
Yeah.
You know, obviously didn't get in just because of past stuff. You know, nothing serious. Just their guidelines wasn't up to scratch for me to get in the first time. But obviously you're nearly there, pointy end. Hopefully, if you pass the psych, you've got what do you have left now?
Just the physical and like the paperwork side of things.
Paperwork side of things, yeah, right.
Yeah, like references and all that sort of stuff.
Well, being that you live like, you know, towards like, you know, Redland Bay area, where you kind of hoping to get stationed? Because obviously like your preferences, I remember when I did
sound
it.
a bit crazy, but I'd like to be like the Logan area.
Logan, hey, you can't diss Logan. You can't diss Logan. Everywhere has their bad people, but yes, Logan would be interesting.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Bit of action there for sure.
Yeah, 100%. And I guess it's not far from you anyways, like
No, about 20, 30 minutes.
20, 30 minutes, yeah. So at least it's like hop, skip and a jump to work every day.
Yeah.
But I think the thing that's going to suck is when if you do get in, you're going to obviously opt in to live at the academy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, driving from Redland Bay to Oxley every day, then driving home, you'd be absolutely rooted. You'd be so tired.
Home on the weekends, that's better, I think.
Yeah, 100%.
But I think that'll help me as well, like with all the study that you've got to do.
Yeah.
Sort of keep me in line.
Yeah, and plus you'll have other people to lean on. I think that was big for me in school, and even now. Like obviously, I have a friend who went to Narangba with her, and like coincidentally, she was doing the same fucking bridging course as me.
Yeah.
I saw it, and I was like, because like in the forums,
Yeah.
I saw her name. I was like, I messaged her on Instagram. I'm like, no way, we're doing the same thing. So she's helped me out. I've helped her out. It's actually been quite useful. I feel like having someone who's in the same study or doing the same course is good because you can kind of lean on each other.
Exactly.
And, you know, talk about topics, ideas and stuff. I think that's really cool to have. But obviously, big turnaround for you going to the police, because I always thought you were going to be like a, what was it? What did you want to be when you were in high school? Was it like an engineer? Or like, I can't remember.
That's sort of still on the table.
Still on the table?
Because if I don't go through with the police, I don't think I've told you this, but you know the ADF, like Australian Defence Force, you know, the gap year side of things. They do, like you can do like an engineering gap year or all that sort of stuff. And I like to give it a crack for a year.
Like what time? When you say, obviously engineering is like a wide cast now.
Yeah, like avionics.
Like
with
helicopters and
stuff.
planes and shit. Oh,
Yeah.
that's sick, bro.
Yeah.
Well, whenever I'm on a plane and you've been working on it, I'm going to be like, nah, no, I'm not flying. No, I'm joking. But so with the engineering side of things, do you guys fix them or do you guys design them? Like being an engineer, like so, because obviously like you have like heavy diesel fitters or that kind of shit.
Ways.
Both ways.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. That's really cool. So I guess
you want to take really.
I guess you'd be like multifaceted. You know, what'd be really cool. You could maybe even look at. I don't know if this is actually a position. Not to look into it. QPS. Maybe go through QPS. Go Pol Air, and then even if you just work for QPS as a like they're helicopters. You just work and fix those.
I think they just have like a subcontract, basically. Like they would hire people and everything. I don't think anyone works for the actual force
to fix them. They just subcontract. Yeah. Actually, that's true because like you see like that place in I think it's on the Narangba Road near the timber place. They have all the fire trucks there, all the ambos. They service them and stuff. Yeah, so it must be like subcontracted. Yeah. I'm not 100% sure how it works. But obviously, my dream, like you know and I know, is eventually to become a paramedic. I'm going to start my degree in 2027. Obviously, being in the emergency services, obviously we have friends. I have friends that are in the emergency services. It is a very demanding job, but it's also a very rewarding job. And I guess everyone does it for their own reasons. I have my reasons why I want to be in the be a paramedic and be in the emergency services. What do you think draws you towards a job? Do you think it's the high pace? Do you think it's obviously?
I think it's just working within the community. That's one of my big things. Like being able to help the community and yeah.
And I think one thing that's super underappreciated is just how diverse everyone is. And one thing that I always live by, and I think a lot of my mates do, and I know you do, is you never judge someone just on how they look. Someone could look like, they're worse for wear, they don't have money, they're in a poor living situation. You have a conversation with that person and they could be the nicest person you've ever met with, the most awesome stories you've ever heard in your life. I've had it before where, I was out getting a coffee and, this guy was hanging around, he looked a bit rough, everyone was, looking at him, judging him, and I just, went up and said, hey mate, how's your morning? You want a coffee? He's like, yeah. And like, we had a bit of a conversation, and, you know, he was so nice, had, you know, really valuable insight into certain things. And I think it's just, yeah, being in the community, you know, obviously you can't help everyone. Not everyone wants to hear advice. Not everyone is, you know, a positive person. Not everyone has that, you know, because obviously the world is, you know, not the nicest place sometimes. But I think that's a really good reason why you want to be there. And, you know, I think that's also another big reason why I want to be, you know, a paramedic is engaging with the community and helping people, you know, on the worst days. Now, obviously, that's a whole, you know, in the emergency services, once you've done the job, I've heard it's a whole cliche, you know, like, that won't last. But I think one thing that I want to keep with me if I do eventually get the job and do eventually get that dream is helping people and being there for people, and, you know, and just being a good person. Like, it's not hard. Like, and then this is one thing that I think is really controversial these days is people just being rude to other people, man. Like just because they don't fit a certain social demographic or a you know, they don't make as much money, or they, you know, they don't have all this materialistic shit. That doesn't mean that person is a nice person, you know? And I think you'd be really good at that, you know, coming from, you know, obviously, you know, you obviously had a good childhood growing up, you know, you came from, you know, mum and dad separated when you were young, you came from two separate homes. So I think, how do you think that will help influence you? Your life experiences, your story. How do you think that'll help you in the community doing the job?
I think it's sort of because joining the QPS, like talking to a lot of different like police officers and those sort of things. They've all said that domestic violence is the big thing that's happening right now, and sort of. Like with mum and dad splitting when I was really young, not that there was any domestic violence in the house or anything like that, but it sort of gives me a perspective on like single mums at home that are struggling, sort of thing, as like single fathers as well, obviously. And then, you know, you've also got those families that are together, but aren't getting along and that sort of stuff. So I don't know, it just helps. I think it helps in a way that you can see both sides to a story sometimes.
Yeah, I think it'd be good, because I think you having the experience of obviously being in a, you know, separated family, having, you know, single mum, you know, single dad, bounce between houses, you know, you can empathise with how hard it is on a single parent, I think. That's what I mean, and I think you having that experience would just lead to have empathy. But I think it's important, and this is why I think it's really important for people to go out and get, you know, have experience and, you know, make mistakes. And, you know, obviously I don't wish anything bad upon anyone, but I think everyone should at least have one, like almost like a trial, or like not a trial, like something not bad happens to me, you know what I'm saying? Like something go wrong in a small way, in a big way, because I think it shapes you as a person.
It opens up their eyes.
Yeah, 100%. I think like and this is one of my favourite sayings, as you know, like I live and stand by it. It's one of my favourite sayings. It's Alexander Volkanovski said it, is adversity is a privilege. You know, without your failures, without your, you know, lows, without all that kind of stuff, you wouldn't have the highs and you wouldn't be able to learn from that. Now, obviously for me, when I was in high school, I went through a lot of really, you know, bad stuff with a past relationship, you know, a lot of accusations, stuff that I'd go through. I'd, you know, had to go to court and get proven innocent, but that's a whole other story for a whole other time. But obviously I felt like I couldn't talk about that stuff, and I think that's another big thing that we'll talk about on this show quite a lot, is mental health and, you know, talking about stuff. Because obviously when I was in 2021, as you know, I, you know, did unfortunately try to kill myself. Now obviously I learnt from that, and I learnt from, you know, all the bad stuff that happened to me, and that kind of shaped me into who I am today. So I think it's important that everyone has something that challenges them in their life at least once, because it gives you perspective, and it gives you a different outlook on certain things. It allows you to empathise with people's situations, and I think that will be a really good situation for you, because obviously, you know, being a separated home, you know, you'd have empathy towards that, but then obviously losing mum as well. You know, even if you go from QPS to QAS, I think, you know, mum having cancer and you seeing the first-hand side of it, I think you could do a lot of really good work in that aspect too. 100%. Is that something you'd probably want to look at doing one day, like being involved in like raising awareness for cancer? Yeah,
definitely. Well, I've signed myself up for a half marathon That's coming up like the middle of August, I think.
Yep.
So about a month away. And I'm about to start raising money for that. It's neuroblastoma. No. Yeah, but kids with cancer. Basically.
Kids with cancer. That's cool, man. That's really good. And what I'll do is for you, when you do start, send me the link and I'll post it up and get everyone to get involved. So when Aiden does start raising money for kids with cancer, I'll put the link up. Everyone can get involved, donate, even if it's 50 cents. Everything helps. So that'll be really awesome. Really, really awesome. People could donate. But just going back to mum, obviously, really hard subject. Just want to kind of tell your story a bit when it came to mum. Obviously, you know, she had cancer for a while and, you know, lost her last year. You know, obviously only talk about what you're comfortable about, but I think it'd be important to talk about it because then, you know, other people who are in the same situation or might have similar experiences can kind of, you know, relate to it.
Yeah. Well, when was it? 2019. She got diagnosed with bowel cancer.
Yeah.
It was a very, what's the word? I don't know the word, but it was definitely difficult at the start, but because the doctors from the day one, they were telling her that she had Crohn's disease, which is like, it's sort of like a...
It's like with the gluten and like stuff in your gut, eh?
Yeah. I just know that you can only eat solid foods because that is what they were saying for probably 2 or 3 months. And she went back with consistent pain, obviously, to the hospital. 3 times within those 3 months. And they were adamant that it was Crohn's disease. And then she went to a different doctor and they looked back at her scans from when she was there from day one. And the tumours were there from the start. So then, she was then diagnosed properly then with, stage 3 bowel cancer. And then she obviously had the surgery. Doctors then told her she was in remission. That was about 2 months went by. And then, it came back because they left a few lymph nodes there. But they never told mum that. So.
And I remember when this happened, it was like, I remember because your mum was so pissed off because I remember, and I don't, like, obviously the hospital system is great most of the time, as you know, but I think I've heard a lot of cases like this where obviously the hospital system is so busy, it's so oversaturated, there's so many people, you know, it is it's a recurring system. Obviously, you know, your mum came back with the persistent, you know, I have pain. You'd think they would have done rechecks because, you know, it's kind of, obviously you can't work off what if because what's happened has happened, but it's like...
They're off the most because it was there from day one.
Exactly. Like, you know, what if they could have found it earlier?
It was on the scans from day one, it's just the doctors just didn't see it.
And I think that's one thing maybe we could even talk about is like, or, you know, even try raise awareness about is people advocating, because obviously advocated for my mum, advocated for herself, is advocating for, you know, people with cancer. It could be anything. Like if you're going to the doctor, you're going to a hospital, obviously there's Ryan's Rule, all that kind of stuff in place already. But if you feel like you don't feel right, you feel like you're not happy with, you know, the treatment diagnosis, advocating and pushing and, you know, being 100% sure that that is the correct diagnosis. Because
going off that, like with mum, you know, being told so many different things that like that weren't necessarily like the right things, for example. Over the 5 years that she was at constant appointments and all that sort of stuff, it sort of turns into she was just telling the doctors what she wants, and that was sort of the only way that she was able to figure things out, because sometimes the doctors didn't want to do certain things, which that sort of just seemed to be the only way that she was getting answers, was just constantly.
And I've found that as well, like even with Layla, like when we went to the hospital, and I feel like with anyone, it's like sometimes you have to tell the doctor, like it's the doctor, and obviously don't get me wrong, doctors do an amazing job. Without them, awesome, like they're awesome, but I think there's things that, there's always room for improvement in every system in every part of the world. But I think 100% correct. Like, I feel like a lot of doctors, obviously because they're so busy, there's so many patients, like shit, it feels like you have to tell them, like, hey, I think this is what's going on. This is all my symptoms. What are we going to do? And like, oh, we can do this if you want to do this. And you really have to push instead of them kind of being like, okay, we've done the scans, we've had a look. I think it's going to be this. You know, we'll have a look. Do you have any questions, queries, and concerns? Instead of the patient having to push so hard, like, you know, this is what's happening to me.
Exactly.
What's going on? Yeah. And then they're like, oh, well, what do you want to do about it? It's like, no, like, that's your job. Your job is to tell me what we should do. Like, and I think that is a big thing that needs to be spoken about, because obviously I've witnessed it firsthand with Layla with her POTS, and you've witnessed it firsthand with you know, Mum. And if anyone's witnessed it or had any shared experience, drop a comment below, because I think that'll be really awesome to see if anyone's had any shared experiences in the hospital system. But obviously, yeah, so like you're saying, Mum got the diagnosis, and obviously we all heard about it, and, you know, she was good for a couple of years. They said she was in remission, and then obviously...
Yeah, she was in remission for probably only 2 months, and then, yeah, the lymph nodes came back. And then she got a scan. It was very small, so the doctors said come back in 6 months, which she did, and yeah, it had already tripled in size, and it wasn't far off being like the size of a tennis ball. It was basically,
No, I think that's another thing, and obviously I don't know anything about medicine yet. I don't know anything about anything like when it comes to the medical side of things, but I think also I've noticed, obviously, once again, system's so busy, etc. It's like, if you find something on a scan, obviously I don't know the medicine. I'm just throwing a cast net here. Yeah. Obviously, yes, it progressed quickly with your mum, and I think it does progress quickly with a lot of other people.
Very quick,
It's like, the initial scan, if you find something, it should be, okay, cool, we found something. Instead of just letting it sit and then we'll do a scan in 3 months, it should be, okay, cool, let's immediately start treatment. Let's immediately, even if, yes, there's a little bit of a risk to the surgery, to do a biopsy, I don't know what they do. It's like, rather take that risk, find out what it is, if it's going to grow, if it's going to progress quickly, then, we'll do a scan in 3 months, and then it's, quadrupled in size. And then the damage is already done. You know, I think, obviously, like I said, very specific circumstances to specific cases, and, you know, the medicine side of things. Like I said, I'm not a doctor, you're not a doctor, we don't know anything, but I think I have noticed and heard from a lot of different stories that people feel like when something's found, they're just like, oh yeah, it looks okay for now, come back in 3 months or come back in 6 months, and then it's already too late. You know, and obviously they can't predict that, they don't know what's going on, but I think there should be more investigation at the initial finding. You know? But yeah, obviously, and I remember something, it was like when they did the full body scan, like they left it late, I remember, because your mum had was going to file like a legal thing against the hospital.
Mum was going to file the legal against the hospital for the whole like Crohn's disease sort of stuff at the start. And they're missing the tumours in the scans from the first day she went in. And then from when the lymph nodes had come back after the surgery, they tripled in size, and because she'd only had about a quarter of a bowel left from the surgery, it was basically gone. Couldn't do much better, so then it was just radiation and chemo for the next few years. And then she got offered to do it was like a trial drug, basically. She was going to do it, and then she opted out of doing it. Never really knew why, but I think it was more the fact that there wasn't much study done on the drug, and it was sort of just, it could either make it 10 times worse or...
Could work,
but you just never know.
And I think that is a really, obviously, controversial subject, trial drug, because obviously science is all about, you know,
trial and error.
Trial and error. You know, like you have a hypothesis, you do the experiment, and then you record the data. Obviously, you know, that's usually the fundamentals of science. But I feel like, obviously, people have to sign off and agree to it and understand the risk when it comes to trial drugs. But it almost, and I'm not a conspiracy theorist, you know this. I hate conspiracy theories. I believe in science. I believe in medicine. I think it's awesome. But I think one thing that really baffles my brain a little bit is it's like, oh, this person has stage 4 cancer.
Yeah.
We have a trial drug. We want to see if it works. Let's see if this person who's already,
They do it mostly to patients on like, say, like end of life care, for example. Yeah.
That's what I mean. Yeah. So it almost feels like, and this is in a very figurative sense, it's almost feels like, oh, this person's going to die.
Yeah.
Let's just give it a go and see what happens. Exactly. Like they're elaborate. Like I think obviously they do it in a very professional, formal, process where they explain the risks, they explain the side effects, possible side effects. But I think it's very, I don't know. It's like someone who's going through something so perilous. So you're telling them, oh, there's nothing we can do. But hang on, we have this new trial drug. Yeah. It hasn't been tested yet, but we can give it to you and see what happens. Yeah. It might kill you or it might save you. Yeah. It's like you're given a 50-50 chance. Yeah. It's like, okay, cool. So it's either going to kill me now, or I can live out the rest of my days for a little bit longer, and I'm going to die anyways.
That's sort of how Mum was.
Exactly.
She preferred to spend the time that she had left knowing that she was going to die, rather than
take a gamble and die straight away.
Like there's a very small chance that I reckon that would have happened, but again, you never know. It's a big trial.
And yeah, it's a risk. Yeah. And I think obviously they explain the risk, but I think it's almost asking it's asking someone to gamble with their life. Yeah, obviously, exactly. Like their life is already already end of life. Obviously the prognosis, etc. Yeah. But you're still asking someone obviously yes, this is your prognosis, but we have this. It's either going to work or it's going to kill you. Yeah. Like you literally ask them to have a gamble with their life, and exactly. I think that is something that needs to be looked at. Obviously I don't know how the processes work and everything, but I think it's just universally like, if I was sick and someone's like, oh, we had this trial drug, or or how about this? Like I'm a mechanic, but and I've used one part supplier my whole time I've worked on cars, right? For the one set of car, and then someone comes along with this new part, and they're like, oh, mine's better, it's more innovative, but it hasn't been tested before, put it in the car. It's like, and they're like, oh, 50-50 chance, it's either going to work and it's going to be better, or it's going to immediately fail and the car's going to blow up. Yeah. It's like, do I trust the brand, the stuff that the stuff that I know, that, okay, cool, I know that I have cancer, I know my prognosis, I know that I have this much time, approximately this much time left and I can live out my days, or do I take the drug and possibly die, or possibly maybe get better and have a little bit more time. Yeah. And I think,
or even I think Mum was more worried about not necessarily like dying from the trial drug. It was more probably the side effects to things and making what time she had left worse.
Worse, 100%.
She's already in a whole lot of pain.
It's all about quality of life at the end of the day. She's obviously in pain, like as you said, and if you can avoid more pain, that would be be detrimental. But like I said, obviously, I just want to make it adamant to people watching and everything. We're not doctors. We don't know anything about anything when it comes to medical. But this is just more the broader kind of morality of it. Yeah. I think it needs to be approached in a better way. Because like when you experience, how do they approach it? Is it very like kind of like that? Like, hey, we got this. It might work or it might not. Like, is it like how did you find it when it was actually in?
Well, I actually went to the consultation with the doctor. I won't tell the doctor. Not a huge fan of him, and I think that could be another reason why Mum never went forward with it. He was just very like, this is what we have. Sort of like trying to make Mum feel guilty in a way, like you're one of, I think he said over 100,000 people, and they only selected 50 people to do it over the country.
It's like, yeah, so it's almost like, oh, you've been chosen. If you don't take this, this is an awesome opportunity. Like almost trying to like guilt her into doing it.
This doctor, nothing. Well,
speak freely, mate. You can say whatever you want to say. Yeah, and that's what I mean. And obviously, there's all the conspiracies about big pharma and shit. Like I said, I don't follow conspiracies. I believe in science. I believe in medicine. I think doctors, nurses, and paramedics and everything. Obviously, I want to be in the medicine industry, so I practice what I preach. But I think that is something that, like we've been saying now, something needs to be looked at, because it's like, oh, it's like if you, like for example, like Adrian Portelli, when you get the messages, it's like, oh, limited people in this draw. It's like, oh, sweet, I'll buy it, because if I don't, it's kind of like that, like the psychological bait of it's like you tell the person, oh, there's this many people, you've been selected out of this many people, you should do it, to kind of like almost, carrot and the donkey, like, oh, I should do this because, I'm one of this many people, and I think that's something that shouldn't be done. It should be like, hey, you know, we have this.
Yeah.
You know, there's not much research behind it. Obviously, you have a very set, you know, specific set of circumstances that allow you to have the treatment.
Yeah.
There is risk involved.
Yeah.
It's up to you. We're not going to push you. We're not going to say that you do it, you know, don't have to. We're not going to tell you, you know, you're super lucky because you're on the list to do it, because obviously you're in a, you know, bit of a poor situation as it is. But the option is there if you feel like you want to adventure it. Yeah. Otherwise, you can continue with your normal treatments. It should be something like that, not like, oh, you're one of this many people, we can give this to you, there's no evidence, you know, that kind of thing, you know?
What I've noticed was like big time private doctors who like own their own practice, for example. Yeah. They're all about the money. That's just my opinion personally, 100%. But yeah.
100%. Yeah, I think, and that's what I mean. Like the public health system, the guys and girls that work in the public health system, they're fucking like they're legends. Yes. Like without them, we'd be stuffed. And that's what I mean, because it's the public health system. They're all like they have the same outlooks of like, you know, we're here to treat people because they need treatment. They want to help people. But I think you're right. The people who go off on their own private adventure and they pay, you know, they charge $600 for a fucking consult. Yeah, it's like, mate, like these people can't get into the public system because obviously the public system is really good, but it's also broken in a way that you can only see a neurologist or you can only see, you know, a cardiologist if you're having an emergent, immediate, life-threatening, you know, injury or, you know, medical event. Yeah. Where if you need something post, you know, emergency room, you have to go see specialists, or you know the wait lists are for
it takes like 6 to 12 months.
6 to 12 months to get in. But obviously, it's really awesome because you can get in for free. You can see them, but obviously the wait times and people have to deal with the symptoms and etc. Yeah. If you want to go book a neurologist, like with Layla when she had like her POTS initially, it was like I was trying to get into a neurologist because we initially thought it was seizures, and it's like $750 initial consult, and it's like nah, we'd rather just manage it and wait until we get an appointment. It's like I think. That's something that should be mandated is the cost of and private doctors. Yeah. Because, you know, obviously we have the Medicare system that falls under the emergency healthcare system, but I think it would be really cool to look at having, you know, more outpatient and more, you know, cheaper services for the specialty roles. Yeah. So people can, it's more regularly available for people. Yeah. I think that'll be really good to see. But yeah, I think one thing we should obviously close out with is, and I think a lot of people, you know, can probably relate to this is, you know, losing mum. Yeah. Obviously it affected me quite a lot. It affected all the boys and, you know, affected my family. You know, it was a massive loss, but I think losing anyone is hard. Yeah. But I think losing mum would have been, I couldn't even imagine.
One of the bigger ones. Yeah.
Bigger ones, yeah. If you could, in a sense, give someone advice if they were going through what you were going through. You know, let's just say someone out there has a mum, dad, auntie, uncle, brother, sister, mate, whatever, that is going through something similar that you went through. If they were if I wasn't here, they were sitting across from you, what advice would you give them?
Probably be, you know, spend as much time as you can with them, really. If you know that it's not going to go too well, just spend as much time as you can, even if it's just, you know, just the little memories really, like even just looking back on photos of just us being stupid at home because we can't do certain things anymore. It was definitely good to look back at the photos and still see that we could have fun in a way by just, you know, just being with each other sort of thing.
Reminiscing.
Yeah, whereas like, say before all of this happened, we weren't like, we would do things obviously, but it wasn't like we're doing it for a reason. It was sort of just, what's the word? It's like we were hanging out with each other and doing stuff, but we didn't realise how important doing that is. Yeah. So it's definitely opened up my eyes on that. Like quality family time is definitely
really important.
Yeah.
I think I definitely agree with that. Like spending time with family, and not even just family, friends. I think obviously when you're in your 20s, and a lot of people who agree with this, is, you know, life gets busy. We all have our own ventures. We all have our own, you know, goals, and all, you know, social dynamics are changing. You know, life's getting more serious. You know, obviously spending time with family is really important. But I think one thing I really wanted to speak about as well, based on this, is spending time with your mates.
Yeah,
like
make time for your mates,
because, you know, when life gets so busy, everyone has so much shit going on, everyone's so stressed out, you still have to make time for yourself and make time for your mates.
Exactly.
And I think having connection with your friends, like today, we're going to have all the boys over, we're going to have beers, barbecue, watch some UFC fights. It's going to be awesome. Yeah. And, just spending time with your mates, invaluable time, hopping off the phones, interacting. Because a lot of people don't realise, and like I've heard this from older people, doing row-with-these all day every day, I get to interact with a lot of different people from all different walks of life and ages, is I've noticed a lot of people say, especially the older generation, is, because I always ask them, like, before I leave, you got any advice for me? They're like, and I've noticed, like 3 or 4 people have told me, enjoy the good days while they last. Because they said when you're in the good days, you don't realise you're there until you're out of them.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think it's really important for people to obviously prioritise your goals, prioritise saving money, prioritise what's important to you. Because I think everyone's lives are so dynamic and diverse and different that everyone has different goals. Obviously, we've got a mate, Nick, his goal is to buy a house with his missus and do that. Obviously, Jacob and, Jude, they're single, they want to have fun, travel, buy cars, enjoy time. Like, everyone's lives are so different in a way that it's like, with all that stuff going on in the background, still make time to have real connections with yourself, your friends, your family. I think it's really important. But I think the last thing I wanted to talk about as well is just the idea of beers at the barrel. I think, obviously, because this is the first episode, we're kind of introducing this, but I think we've had a really good conversation. But I think I just want to get your thoughts and feelings on how you think beers at the barrel is going to make an impact. Because the whole vision for this, for me, is obviously it's going to start at the barrel. This is just a series. The whole vision is, for me personally, to get out in the community, connect with people I don't know, connect with people in unfortunate situations, and voice people's stories, to show people who are one-minded, one-sided, judgy, whatever, that there's people out there with stories and experiences, and you can make connections with people that you don't even know. And that's the whole vision of this and everything else I'm going to do. Is just to show people that we're literally on a fucking rock, floating in space, spinning around at 1,000 miles an hour. Go say hi to that person, buy that person a coffee, say g'day. If you see an old couple walking in the morning, say, morning guys, how's your weekend? Because at the end of the day, and this is one thing I'm really big on as well, is someone could be having the worst day of their life. They could look completely fine. But just you going, hey mate, how's your morning? Or, buying them, paying it forward, buying a coffee, whatever, like a small gesture to a stranger could change that person's entire day. And they could be thinking about that for a week. Like, oh my God, that person, was nice to me, or, reached out to me. It's something as small as that. And I guess I just wanted to see what you think of the whole idea, and if you have any thoughts or ideas of what I should do with beers at the barrel and just a bigger vision.
Well, I love the idea. I like what you're doing, and I know from what you've told me with a few people that are going to be coming on, you're going to have a few crazy stories.
Yes.
And it's definitely going to be good because it shows like different sides of people as well that you might not see. Like, you've got, I won't say who yet, you can do all that. But you've got some good stories coming on.
But it's also like what people see on social media, and that's the other thing. Obviously, everyone puts on not a persona, but everyone puts what they want to put on social media, because that's, they want to put their successes. Some people put their failures, whatever. But I think everyone sees people very in a very linear sense. Like, oh, this person has it all figured out. They post all this cool shit on Instagram. They're going out, holidays or whatever they might be doing.
They don't see behind the scenes.
They don't see behind the scenes. They don't see the person's real story, their history, their upbringing, whatever it might be. And I think that's what I'm trying to do, is just to show people that behind a persona, behind the person, behind, you might look at this person and judge the book by a cover, like they've got it all figured out, but maybe they don't. Maybe they're fucking extremely anxious and they're trying to go out on a new venture. And I think that's really important. And I think I'm really, really excited for episode 2, because episode 2, I'm getting Matthew Boat on, old Bowie. And obviously he's been doing a lot of really, really good work in the pancreatic cancer. I'm not going to go too much into it because I'm going to save it for episode 2. But he has been doing a lot of really good work when it comes to pancreatic cancer. So I'm really excited to have him on and for him to tell his story as well. And obviously it's similar to yours. So he can even come on the back of our conversation and, you know, give some new ideas and stuff. And that's the whole point, is it's like, and I don't care, I'm going to sound like a giddy little kid. I'm so excited and so passionate that I get to sit down with all different kinds of people. People I don't even know I've had message me that want to sit down and talk to me. And I can't wait, because we don't know each other. Yeah. There's no animosity. There's no, you know, there's no you know, awkwardness. It's just we're going to talk and get to know each other and talk about stuff that's important to us. We might disagree, we might agree. You know, I'm going to have, I have lined up someone who is devoutly Christian. Yeah. And I'm really excited to talk about how some of my morals line up with his morals. Yeah. But obviously I don't practice faith. Yeah. And I'm so excited to talk to all different people from all different walks of life and just have real conversations with real people and talk about all different kinds of things. But I think we'll wrap it up there. Yeah. Thank you very much for having me on, Dossie.
No worries.
And catch you on the next one, guys.
Thank you.
Cheers.